It is Saturday, the 22nd of February, 2025. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. Today, we're talking about Mitski. I realize that it's been a while. I think I've only talked about one Mitski song so far, which was Pink in the Night. It's so weird to me. It's just one of those things where it's like, I have so many artists to talk about, and it's wild that I've only talked about Mitski once before. I don't know how much time I'll have for other songs. There are some that I would really like to talk about. But today, we're talking about the song Two Slow Dancers. This is the final track on her 2018 album, Be the Cowboy. It was the first album of hers to come out after I got into her, so I was very hyped about the release of it. And there's some songs in here that I was really into. I mean, Pink in the Night, the one that I talked about before, is also on here. Geyser, Washing Machine Heart, Nobody. Some really great songs on this album. But Two Slow Dancers being the final song on the album, just a perfect ender. Really good song. One of my favorite Mitski songs. There's no official music video, but there is a lyric video if you want to watch that. Yeah, let's go listen to it now and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. And that was Two Slow Dancers by Mitski. So that song is about two people slow dancing, reminiscing about past times in a general sense. Some people argue it's, old lovers. Some people argue it's old friends. Mitski has said that it's about old lovers, but it's not really about their loving relationship. I mean, I have the quote here. In the Genius description, it says, the song is about two old lovers who have reunited and reflecting in the adolescent setting of a school gymnasium. Mitski elaborated, they used to have something together that is no longer there, and they are trying to relive it in a dance, knowing that they'll have to go home and go back to their lives. And then there's an additional comment under it. The thing is, it's not about a romantic relationship. It's about two real lives lived. And there's something very visceral and real about that. These two people have lived their whole lives, and they're older, and they have problems, and their lives are more complicated, and they're just experiencing this one dance together where they get to pretend that they're young again. But it's in this context of life mess. I mean, that's what it's about. It's about this nostalgia, trying to, saying like things have changed so much and some things have stayed the same, and wanting to go back to simpler times. I love how throughout the song it's built around just this like do 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 on the keyboard, and that's like the basic structure of the song, and it's constant throughout. But there's also just these like sweeping in things, like between the first chorus and the second verse you get this big like string like although it feels like it's maybe like synthesized strings. And but also there's just like bits between each line where like she'll say something and you're like where you hear like shh, or some just kind of sound effects. It's just kind of like the song has like a soundscape, which I really enjoy. So let's go into the lyrics here. Does it smell like a school gymnasium in here? It's funny how they're all the same. It's funny how you always remember, and we've both done it all 100 times before. It's funny how I still forgot. It would be 100 times easier if we were young again, but as it is, and it is, we're just two slow dancers, last one's out. We're two slow dancers, last one's out. So, does it smell like a school gymnasium in here? It's funny how they're all the same. School gyms do all kind of smell the same. And you get the feel of like one of the people in this couple just saying this, like, it smells like a school gymnasium in here because we're in a school gymnasium. That's just what they smell like. And then it's funny how they're all the same starts this, I forget what the term is. It comes up a lot on TV tropes, but I always forget what it is. There's like a term for when a bunch of lines start with the same word or phrase. And so a few lines here start with it's funny. And you get the sense of the person, they're not saying funny as in haha funny, they're saying like, that's an interesting thing about this world that I've noticed. It's funny how they're all the same. It's funny how you always remember. We've both done it all 100 times before. It's funny how I still forgot. So she could be talking about a lot of things here, but it sounds like she's saying like, you always remember how to dance. We've both done it all 100 times before. And then it's funny how I still forgot. Like, it's been so long that I actually still forgot. And isn't that funny? But I mean, the dancing can be seen as this sort of overall metaphor for their old life. And she's talking about how like, you always remember, like I'm remembering all these things about what we used to have together, and yet I still forgot about it before, right? And then it would be 100 times easier if we were young again. Pretty standard sentiment, I wish I was young again. I wish I could go back to when it was simpler. But as it is, and it is. I love that bit, actually, because she's saying, but as it is, we're just two slow dancers. But she says, but as it is, and it is, as this sort of like, it is like that, and kind of reiterating it to drive the point home that like, this is the reality. We're just two slow dancers, last one's out. We're two slow dancers, last one's out. out. So like they're dancing there and they're the last ones out and the last ones to leave, which kind of implies this not wanting to leave, wanting to stay here in the gymnasium dancing together in this nostalgic moment forever. And so they're going to be the last ones to leave, you know? And then the second verse, and the ground has been slowly pulling us back down. You see it on both our skin. We get a few years and then it wants us back. It would be 100 times easier if we were young again, but as it is, and it is, to think that we could stay the same, to think that we could stay the same, to think that we could stay the same, but we're two slow dancers, last ones out. We're two slow dancers, last ones out. Two slow dancers, last ones out. So, the ground has been slowly pulling us back down. You see it on both our skin. On the one hand, that could be referring to gravity. On the other hand, it could be referring to the grave. In both cases, it's referring to aging. And the ground pulling us back down isn't pulling us towards our grave, but also gravity. You see it on both our skin. That's the wrinkles appearing, you know? We get a few years and then it wants us back, as in we feel alive and then we're going to end up dead. And then we get it would be 100 times easier if we were young again, but as it is, and it is. And then the bridge is to think that we could stay the same, but we're two slow dancers, last ones out. That repetition of to think that we could say the same is like kind of laughing at sort of the childish naivety of it, right? To think that we could say the same. How could we ever have believed that? We're two slow dancers, last ones out. And Mitski has this talent. I know Pink is the Night is the only one I've talked about, so if you haven't listened to her outside of my podcast, you wouldn't necessarily know this, although it is in Pink is the Night, or Pink in the Night, rather. I go pink in the night in my room. I was thinking of Patience is the Night. But like, Mitski likes to do this thing where, she just has a great talent for having bridges or second choruses get really loud and desperate and maybe a bit syncopated as well. Like in Pink in the Night, you get the, try again, try again, try again. And it's one of those things that you love to sing along to because it's just such emotion there. You can't sing it unemotionally, And the bit here with the to think that we could stay the same. Like you can really feel the tears in that. Like it's supposed to be this kind of like, oh, could you imagine? Like, oh, we were so young and foolish. But you can feel her crying like, I wish it was true, right? It's great. It's such a great delivery. And then it ends back with the two slow dancers, last ones out. Because as we know, I love a song that gets loud and then suddenly gets quiet, especially for the ending. And that's pretty much it for this song. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
Break it down.
Today, we're talking about the tongue. And that was Two Slow Dancers. And that was Two Slow Dancers. And that was Two Slow Dancers by Mitski. Because, as we know, I love a song that gets loud and then suddenly gets quiet. Especially for the ending. Never